We light our chalice. Each day, we must hold out the chalice of our being, to receive, to carry, and to give back. Welcome. It is April the 1st, April Fool's Day. A day of pranks, a day of tricks, a day to create mischief. Well, until midday anyway. The history of this day is a little uncertain. There are stories of different cultures mocking each other, as some had New Year's Day as the 1st of April, and some had January the 1st as the 1st of April, as the New Year's Day, so they all started mocking one another. No one really knows. Now, in the 1740s, there was a claim, repeated neither before nor after, so no one quite knows where that one came from, but there was a claim that April the 1st was the day that Noah had sent the first dove out from the ark to seek dry land. And the dove had returned empty-beaked, shall we say. So it was clearly too early. So Noah was a fool to have done this. So April the 1st was Fool's Day. Now, fools are intriguing things. We love and in turn we laugh at the fool, the jester, the comic unfortunate, the true fool. Now, in a tarot pack, the fool is the very first card. It's almost not even in the pack. It's the number 0 in a group of cards known as the major arcana. These are characters rather than sort of suits. Now, I'm not one for believing that the tarot has some strange occult power, whether good or evil or benign. For me, it is just a pack of cards with some great designs. However, where I do take value in the tarot is that it is a way to focus, a way to meditate, to have a picture in your mind that will be a randomly chosen card or a card you've chosen particularly, but it will help you unlock ideas and suggestions in your own mind, help you to solve problems, help you to face challenges, to see something from a different perspective, to try and view things anew. And sometimes the traditional meaning of the card will help to focus the mind. Other times, just the picture will be enough to take you on a completely different path. Now, the Fool is a fascinating one, also known as the Mat, and the Bonhomme, and the Fool. And the Fool generally shows a carefree man, or a boy, or occasionally a woman, often with a pack on a stick, sometimes with a white rose, red feather in the cap. Often in the wild, on the edge of a cliff, there is a sense of freedom, but also a sense of the unknowing. And whether the fool is putting themselves in danger by accident or just being too daft to learn is unclear. Now, the traditional meanings range from childlike, innocent, pure, uncorrupt. But the fool is always ready to leap into the unknown, a crazy actor perhaps. And many say that the fool should lead us to think about the unpredictability of life, of how surprises in life are genuinely that, and how we need to ensure that we recognise, as we make our decisions, that we may not be a fool, but that we need to be aware of the risks that a foolish action might lead to. Unpredictable turns in life, surprises on how things change, is of course hugely relevant today. How many would have predicted just 3 weeks ago that we would be living in a lockdown country, washing our hands at least every 2 hours, supporting the NHS in its monumental task of caring for those with a virus? So are we fools? Or is it better to think about how to avoid foolish behaviour? Where does the still, small voice within you tell you about the fool right now? Are we at risk of sending that dove out a little too early, as Noah did? Are we stepping into the unknown without considering the risks? Or as we reflect more deeply, are we instead able to consider how we might use our wisdom we already hold? How we use that to look before we leap? There is a simplicity to the fool that appeals. The fool has left behind his or her life and is starting afresh, with nothing but the pack over the shoulder. Yet balancing that appeal is the wisdom we have gained that tells us that learning is a progressive act. We cannot and should not unlearn the important things of life. Now, few of us are going very far today. We won't need a backpack. We will not be on a cliff path. But we do have a chance to reflect. We have time to listen to our hearts. We may revel in the joie de vivre of the fool, but we work also to overcome the stubborn refusals from within, to play the wisdom card too. Now, there is a well-known song in Unitarian circles and more widely, "'Tis the gift to be simple." And perhaps this is the way we might reflect on the part of our own character that plays the fool. In a place of simplicity, we may have the freedom of the fool. We have the openness of the fool, free of the baggage of life. Yet we are also able to see more clearly. We do carry knowledge. We do carry wisdom. We're able to make the right call on our actions, our movements, our very being. As Unitarians, we recognise our connection to the world, our oneness with humanity, with our neighbours, with our community. Bear in mind the lessons of the fool as you take the next step into the unknown. Let us come now to a time of stillness, a time of silence, a time of reflection, to reflect on our own place right now, a time to reflect on the joys of the fool, and yet the ways we allow our deeper wisdom to guide us to. As we settle our bodies, perhaps closing our eyes, taking stillness and quiet, which will be broken with song.